Are you ready to qualify or not?
The excitement of the inaugural weekend of racing here at the brand new California Speedway is quickly building. And RPM Tonight welcomes you live to Southern California. Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan. A major announcement coming from Washington, D.C. may affect NASCAR Winston Cup racing. The states and the tobacco industry have reached a settlement that Florida Attorney General Robert Butterworth says will have the Marlboro Man riding into the sunset on Joe Camel. But R.J. Reynolds officials say they don't know how the settlement will affect their company's involvement with racing.
I have not seen the pieces of the settlement yet, so I'm not sure exactly how it affects our motorsports deal. Certainly the Attorney General said it had an impact on that, and I guess it does. So we will have to go back, look at that. We've had 27 years of involvement with NASCAR, a great relationship here. We plan on honoring our contracts, and you know, we got to go back and see what's happened. The settlement talks, we've come to an agreement. As in any agreements, you know, I'm sure that there's issues on our side that we're happy with. There's issues on the other side that they're happy with. We'll just have to see, you know, we'll have to see what it is now.
It may be like the presidential veto. Everybody thought that was great until the Supreme Court says, you know, that may not be constitutional. And so the first right amendment, I think, is certainly an issue in this regard as well. So who knows, maybe the Supreme Court will tell these people they're all wet, or maybe just blowing smoke. No pun intended.
Regardless of this settlement, I will tell you that it has never been the intent of our company or our industry to try to get kids to smoke. We totally disagree with the fact that Joe Camel is a cartoon character. Certainly none of our sports-related activities are designed to get anybody to smoke, or any of the advertising that we had. So that's still an incorrect statement. And you know, we certainly have come to settlements and said that we agree to the fact that was true. That never has been true and still is not true.
NASCAR officials say they have not had the opportunity to review the agreement, which must still receive presidential and congressional approval. NASCAR officials say it's premature to speculate on what effect this will have on motorsports. Now to the news made on the track Friday afternoon. The NASCAR Winston Cup cars took to the brand new California Speedway for first-round qualifying. On the line, the prestige of winning the very first pole for the California 500. First man out on the racetrack, Terry Labonte, defending Winston Cup champion. 181.915 miles an hour, ninth fastest. Dale Jarrett, 10th at 182.163. How about old DW, 8th, 182.209 miles an hour. And Jeff Bodine, 6th quickest in the round, 182.482 miles an hour. Kenny Schrader trying to get his season turned around and get things going in a positive way. 5th fastest on the day. And Wally Dallenbach sat on the pole for a little bit. He's 4th quickest, 182.755. Jeff Gordon will line up on the inside of row number 2, 182.894. Ernie Irvin was on the pole for a while at 182.927. He winds up 2nd. And Joe Nemechek wins his first career Winston Cup pole, 183.015 miles an hour. Joe beating Ernie by just 19 thousandths of a second. We check out some of the speeds there. Qualifying really close. The top 6 drivers in qualifying separated by about 6/10 of a mile an hour. For Nemechek, 183.015 wins the pole, and he was very excited, and he's standing by with Kenny Mayne.
All right, you added some drama to this thing, the first race out here at this track, and you wait for the very last guy, and you beat Ernie at the last second. Did you think you had a good shot at him?
Oh, absolutely. We've been on the top of the leaderboard the whole time since we've been here. Tony Glover and the whole Bell South crew did an awesome job with this race car. Just can't say enough. You know, my first pole with Felix Sabates, Bell South, in a Chevrolet. It's awesome.
Now, when you know you have a good car going into it, is it almost better to be going last or down toward the bottom? Go ahead and see what's out there, and then you can be the guy to spoil it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the last couple of weeks, we've been right up on the front knocking on the door, and last week at Michigan, we were second. Dale Jarrett beat me out. He went later, and it cooled down. Didn't really seem to change here in California, but when I went and qualified, turn 1 and 2, we got through there really awesome, and Tony told me, Tony Glover said, just take it easy, make it through 3 and 4, and we'll be really good. And I gave up a little bit in 3 and 4, but we're on the front row.
You've had a lot of good things going for you. A berth, a healthy berth, a couple good qualifying, your pole. Some things are changing.
Oh, I tell you, it's so awesome. You know, my wife Andrea, new baby John Hunter Nemechek. Miss them a lot. Wish they were out here, but they'll start being with us after next week. Just so many good things happening, and I owe it all to Felix and Carolyn Sabatas for giving me this opportunity.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Rookie driver Jeff Green, the Cartoon Network Chevrolet, 182.83 miles an hour. Dale Jarrett, of course, 10th. We'll be speaking with DJ in just a few moments. 182.163. Ricky Craven, 11th. Mark Martin, 12th fastest, 181.653. Many of the drivers said after making their qualifying runs that they slowed down quite a bit from the lap times they had run in practice.
Well, we've lost about 2.5 tenths there from practice, but the last few laps we ran in practice, we lost it then, so I don't know, we just can't ever get it back. But that's a fair lap. It's not as good as it needs to be.
This Valvoline team worked so hard for qualifying, and I did too, and I got a great lap, and it's slow. I don't know what to say.
I knew when I showed up here Wednesday evening, and I drove in here, I knew that this was going to be a good racetrack for me. I knew I was going to run good here, so I'm real happy with everything.
We're getting our act together in qualifying. Hopefully this car, it's a different car than we ran at Michigan and Pocono. Different type of car. This is my favorite car, so I'm not going to blow any smoke. Hopefully this thing will run up front all race. The other car was fast for a while, but we lost it during the race, so we think we got a better car here this weekend.
Checking out more of qualifying results for this afternoon's first round. Dale Earnhardt checking in at 13th, 181.493 miles an hour, followed by Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, Michael Waltrip, and Jimmy Spencer. Let's go back to the garage to hear more for the fast guys, starting with Kenny Schrader.
Well, it was good. I mean, it was not like we'd run in practice, but I think a lot of guys are seeing the same thing there. But, you know, we sure wanted to be up in the front, but we'll be able to see who's starting on the front. We just won't be in that front row with them.
I'm happy with the car. Yeah, this is the same car we ran Pocono and Michigan with, and it's been a really good race car for us. We've run Texas with it real good and second at Darlington. I'm really happy with the race car. I'm not happy with the qualifying right now, but the race car is going to be a real good car to race again come Sunday.
Pretty good lap. I was pretty happy. I ran a 69. I ran a 52 in practice, and really I had some tires that were a little bit better, and I thought the thing could get in the 40s, and it didn't do it. So I don't know what the deal is. A lot of cars ran slower. Some of them run about the same speed as they did in practice. All in all, we're in pretty good shape.
We'd run a little faster earlier today, but we really struggled in that last practice when it really got hot, so I was pretty proud of that lap.
I really struggled yesterday, and I struggled this morning and this afternoon. The last hour, we made a lot of progress, and then we made a lot of progress there. So that was what we were hoping for, and if it had gone the other way, we, could have been re-qualifying tomorrow.
Checking out the rest of the guys who made the field for the inaugural California 500 we run here at the California Speedway on Sunday. Ted Musgrave, 19th, followed by Jeremy Mayfield, Lake Speed, Derek Cope, Chad Little, John Andretti, and Bobby Hamilton. Now, Robbie Gordon's return to racing received a big setback during Friday morning's practice session. He crashed hard in turn 3 and was taken to Loma Linda University Medical Center for a CAT scan. That proved to be negative. Gordon was undergoing further testing, which also shows that he should be okay, but could be out of action for a while.
They did a CAT scan on him this afternoon, and then they did the motor evaluation test and the psychological and neurological test, and he failed both of those. So the doctor said he could be out for a week, he could be out for 3 weeks. He's too early to tell, but he definitely won't be driving this weekend.
Well, Robbie Gordon, of course, had hoped to make his return to racing this weekend, and now a very hard crash, DJ, today. And Dale Jarrett, qualifying 10th today. Thanks a lot for taking the time out to chat with us. How about that qualifying lap?
Well, it was exciting. I got a little bit loose in 1 and 2. I thought I had a shot at the pole, and I think that we legitimately did, but I just got in a little bit hard, got loose there, and just fortunate that it didn't come around on me and we tear it up because it's a good race car, and now we just have to get ready for Sunday.
Well, you start 10th, so that's pretty close to the front. Usually if something happens, it happens in the back. So what changes will you make to the car now to make it ready to race?
You know, there's not a lot of changes that we're going to make. What we saw here yesterday in practice, we ran most of yesterday doing race-type setups and seeing exactly what the track was going to want, so we wouldn't, be lost when it came Saturday in case you got some weather or just didn't get a lot of time. So we're going to, make a few small changes, and that's pretty much going to be it. The track doesn't drive like Michigan, but setup-wise, you're a lot like Michigan in that respect. So you still have some of the same characteristics of it, and I think we've got a good idea of what we need to do.
How much do you have to lift off the accelerator pedal going into the turns?
More than what I did there qualifying, but yeah, it's not a whole lot, but it seems that we really have made the straightaways longer because we're staying out against the wall so much further down in, and you lift out of the throttle and let the car roll, but you can pick the throttle back up a lot sooner than what you can at Michigan. I know I'm picking the throttle up even before the center of the corner, so you're driving a long way off the corner, and that tends to make the car want to push.
I know everybody has concentrated the last 2 days on qualifying for Friday afternoon, but do you get a feel that you're going to be able to run 2 and 3 wide out there, or is it too early to tell?
No, I think that eventually we will. We're going to get into a situation now to where we're running a race-type deal. You don't have to be right along the bottom. Some guys are going to start working it up. It may not be that much of a groove there in the second groove by Sunday before the race starts, but after it starts, we're going to get it up there, and we may not get to 3 wide on this Sunday, but in Sundays to come here at this California Speedway, they'll definitely be 3 wide.
Now, you've had some exciting action happen to you this year. You've also had peaks and valleys, too, but the last couple of weeks, some top 10 finishes. Was it just a stretch of bad luck that dropped you out of the points lead back into 4th place?
Yeah, it was. I mean, 3 different things happening, totally different circumstances. It wasn't like we had a problem at Robert Yates Racing. It's just unfortunate things happening. We were leading races. We got hit there by Jeff Gordon while we were leading the race, slowing down to miss a wreck, and then it blew up after that. So, just unfortunate things, and we've run better the last couple of weeks. We were a little disappointed last week at Michigan that we didn't run any better than what we did and finish-wise there. But I think that, we realized what our problem was and what we did. The good thing was Ernie won and kept things morale good at Robert Yates Racing. So we're excited about coming here, and hopefully it'll come down to he and I at the end.
Even though you had those 3 bad races in a row there, and we saw the thing at Dover, the little accident there, you're still only 134 points out of 1st place. So there's still more than half season to go. Not ready to throw in the towel yet, are you?
Not by any means. We realize we're still in really good shape. The things that we've had happen there with that stretch, and only this far behind, we're in really good shape, and we feel like that our best racing for the year is yet to come, and we need to get back in victory lane. It's been a few months, and we're all getting a little antsy for that.
What about this weekend? Do you have the same car that you ran last week at Michigan?
No, this is actually the car that we won with at Atlanta and Darlington earlier in the year. Probably my favorite car, but we took another car to Michigan last week, and it was going to be good. We just made one wrong change on Sunday morning with the sway bar, and if we had left it alone, we'd have been all right there. But this is my favorite car, so I thought I'd bring it to California and see if it could make California my favorite state right now.
All right, well, right now, the weather looks good, the track looks good, it looks good to me. Dale, thanks a lot for coming on, and good luck this Sunday.
Thanks.
We'll be back in just a moment as RPM Tonight live from Fontana, California continues. We'll be chatting with Jeff Burton, and also Dale Jarrett's teammate, Ernie Irvin, will join us. Welcome back to RPM Tonight live from California Speedway in Fontana, California. We gave a little bit of a qualifying wrap-up just a few moments ago. Of course, qualifying ended about 10 minutes before we came on the air. And Jeff Burton was the last guy out, came up running up saying, hey, you missed me. I was 25th. Jeff, sorry about that. How about that last lap?
Well, that was not a great lap, obviously. But we had not been all that great all day long. We had been about 25th place car, and we went and got about everything that we had. So we're excited about the race. Never really seemed to qualify that well, but we're pretty excited about getting ready to go race.
Last Saturday morning in Michigan, you got into a crash and bruised the left portion of your muscle in your lower back. Been in therapy all week. How is it feeling now?
It actually feels pretty good away from the race car. When I sit in the race car, it feels good, but when I go into the corner, all my ribs hurt a great deal. It's like somebody taking their finger and just shoving in your ribs. The pain's not that big of an issue, but it takes away from the feel of the car. So I'm having trouble relaying the information to my team to try to make the car better. but we're struggling a little bit with that. It's pretty frustrating to me. I take a lot of pride in being able to feel little things in the car, and I'm having trouble feeling big things in the car. So I'm a little bit depressed about it right now, but we've got two really good teammates, and we'll have to use some of their information as far as setup, because I'm just having a little bit of problem with it.
Yeah, would it benefit you at all to wear like a flak jacket this weekend?
The guys at the Human Performance Center, they brought me over it's a new development. They just came out with it this week, as a matter of fact, and it covers my ribs, and it goes over to my back. It covers my back muscle as well, so that has helped me a great deal. The first few laps I made yesterday were terrible. I didn't have anything. Put this on this corner, and it was a big help. So we had some help, and I believe that we can still fine-tune it and make it even better. And if we can do that, and just give me the feel back that I need, then we can do real well this summer.
You know, Rookie of the Year on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit. You won your first career race earlier this year at Texas. The inaugural Winston Cup race at that track. We run the first Winston Cup race here at this track this weekend. Can you do it again?
Well, I hope so. I know my team's good enough to win. I know my engine program, my race cars, the pit crew, everything's good enough to win. I feel like when I'm 100%, I'm good enough to win. The question is, how much am I giving up right now? And I'm afraid I'm giving up a little bit too much. We're going to spend a lot of time tomorrow trying to get me comfortable, and if we can get me comfortable, we'll have as good a shot as anybody.
You know, everybody looks at this track, and, you know, you look around, and I'm sure maybe if you're out there in the car, it looks like Michigan. How hard is it not to try and drive it like Michigan?
It's not hard at all not to drive it like Michigan. You hit really hard here if you wreck, so you want to drive it like you need to drive California. The front straightaway gives you the appearance of Michigan. Other than that, that's about it. And really, when they designed it, you know, they said it's going to look like Michigan, but it's going to have less bank. It's going to have this different and that different. And it seems like everything they said it would be, that's what it is. They've done a wonderful job. They've built a new racetrack, and it's a beautiful facility. And not only that, everybody seems excited to have it here, and that means a whole lot.
Yeah, having a great time. Jeff, thanks very much. I hope you start feeling a lot better, and good luck this Sunday. Well, as we told you earlier, Ernie Irvan, who won last week at Michigan, is on the outside of the front row here at California, and we will talk to him when we return. RPM Tonight welcomes you back to Southern California with more of first-round qualifying results. Bobby Hamilton qualified at 180.487 miles an hour. Rookie Jerry Nadeau, 180.370. Morgan Shepherd, 180.108 miles an hour. Then Dave Marcus, 179.996. Greg Sachs, of course, we told you he's filling in for the injured Robbie Gordon, 179.636 miles an hour. David Green, 179.6. Kenny Wallace, Steve Grissom, Ward Burton, and Rick Mast is 38th fastest. There were a total of 44 drivers who took qualifying runs today. Ricky Rudd, 41st at 178.253 miles an hour. Mike Skinner at 173.044. But when the green flag drops on Sunday, this man, Ernie Irvan, will be outside of the front row as you kind of got the pole snatched away from you there at the end of qualifying, Ernie. It was a pretty good lap for you, though, wasn't it?
Well, it really was. I mean, we haven't been qualifying all that well, and, you know, it's just a tribute to this team. You know, they keep doing everything they can do to qualify really good, and, you know, one of these days I'll remember how to do it again.
Well, you did pretty well today. Second fastest, not bad. You guys had an extra day of practice to kind of get ready because this is a new racetrack. How many changes did you make on your car from Thursday to Friday?
We haven't really made all that many changes. I mean, the biggest thing we did is we didn't test. And what we had to do is get acquainted with this racetrack, and I had to start learning how to drive it different because you carry so much speed through the corner. It was something a little bit different.
When you come to a racetrack that's brand new, you haven't tested on, what do you do the first time you go out and drive around? Do you go out and just, you know, haul it around, or what do you do?
If you're Jeff Gordon, you do. You know, I mean, it's like because he doesn't seem to do any wrong. But what I do is I try to ride around the bottom, kind of slow, try to find out, you know, where it looks like the groove's been, and then just kind of work up to it.
Now, you guys will be practicing, and I'm sure running in packs and running 2 and 3 wide. And so what's the plan? Try and get the groove widened out this on Saturday?
Well, I don't know if the plan is for that, but, you know, yesterday we had about 15 minutes of practice that they wanted us to run the higher side. And it really started coming in. I really feel like that the high side, once our tires get a little bit worn and get a little bit greasy, I think we'll be able to run the high side.
Last week, you won the race at Michigan and had just an emotional victory for you. It was the third since coming back from that crash at Michigan in '94. You've had some few days to think about it. What does that win mean to you?
Well, I mean, it just means so much. You know, it was like David beating Goliath. You know, just because of what that racetrack meant to us, we had a great day, and we've been really close to winning this year, but we just haven't been able to put the whole package together. And you know, everything went properly at that racetrack, and you know, everything was good. We never adjusted on the car, never adjusted air pressure or anything all day, and the racetrack kept coming to us. It was like kind of our race to win or our race to lose for ourselves.
You know, everybody compared this track to Michigan. It's not really like Michigan. You won at Michigan. I got to believe, even though this track's not similar, that momentum of that victory last week's got to help you coming into this weekekend.
It's not going to hurt. This Texaco Haviland team, they're pumped up. I mean, we're ready to start doing the things that we've set our goals to do. And you know, there's no doubt that we can come here. I mean, you know, this is a little bit different than Michigan, but it's similar. It's a little bit similar to Las Vegas. I had a real good run in Vegas in the truck race. So, you know, we feel like that we can, you know, carry that momentum, plus what we've learned at Michigan, we start trying to pertain it to this car, and it's the same car, so we feel like that, you know, it's going to react how we need it to react.
Well, good luck this weekend, Ernie. Thanks for stopping by. Congratulations on a good qualifying run. When we come back, we will have the latest from kart qualifying from the road course up in Portland. The PPG Kart World Series sets the starting grid Saturday afternoon in second round qualifying for the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 from Portland. And we have got qualifying covered for you right here on The Deuce. Saturday night at 8 Eastern, the roll for the pole from Portland. Well, the teams took to the track on Friday morning to practice and also hold first-round qualifying in the afternoon at Portland. Last year, Alex Zanardi won the pole position and went on to win the race. So he was one of the drivers that we wanted to keep a close eye on in qualifying. So we check out Alex, but Alex only 11th fastest in qualifying for this weekend's race. Rookie points leader Patrick Carpentier, not too good a day in first-round qualifying. He was only 23rd fastest. Now, Michael Andretti is looking to retake the points lead from Paul Tracy on Sunday. He, so far on the provisional grid, is fourth. Greg Moore, of course, looking to make it 3 wins in a row. He posted the 10th fastest lap of the day. And checking out the top 6, Scott Pruitt is your provisional pole sitter for right now, 118.834 miles an hour. Rookie Dario Franchitti, 118.260. Gilles de Ferran, third fastest in qualifying on Friday, 118.174. Jimmy Vasser told me earlier this week that he expected good things this weekend. So far, it looks pretty good, 117.973, while Brian Herta was 6th fastest. Of course, aside from qualifying, a lot of other news going on up at Portland, and one driver making news before practice even started. And for more on that, we go to Marlo Klain.
Paul Tracy returned to his car for the first time since withdrawing from the Detroit Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. Tracy's problems with vertigo have been cured, allowing him to defend his points lead, which shrank to 8 after missing Detroit.
Paul feels very good today. He did very well in the session this morning. I talked to him. He has no residual problem at all. He was seen by the doctor in Phoenix on Wednesday and put through some motions to create vertigo and had no trouble with that and got through the first practice session without any trouble.
Several teams brought out their rain tires during Friday's morning session. The forecast for this weekend calls for a chance of rain, so teams are making sure they're not caught off guard in case of precipitation on Sunday.
Some of the guys, you know, depending on what's going to happen, they go out in rain tires, and a lot of guys do it just to kind of scrub off the newness of the tires, kind of give them just a little bit of edge to them.
Sometimes it's a little harder to break the tires in when they're when it's wet out, so we just like to go out first thing in the morning and just kind of break the shine off the tires and the sealer that they put over the top of them, so that then if we need them in the race, they're scuffed in and ready to go.
20 drivers took advantage of last week's open test at Mid-Ohio to prepare for this track. Portland is the first permanent road circuit for kart this year, and the similarities between the two courses help the teams and the drivers.
Mid-Ohio is a similar type track. I mean, there's some subtle differences in the setup and everything, but you know, we feel good. And I think it gave us a little momentum coming out of there pretty strong, too. And, you know, we'll see. If we're quick, then you say it carries over. If not, then we're going to be scratching our heads.
I think they're similar in that they're permanent road courses, and they're dissimilar in that, you know, there's elevation changes in Mid-Ohio, and there aren't really here. So traditionally, we've run pretty good over the last few years here, so I think we're going to be pretty competitive.
After posting the fast time at both Mid-Ohio test sessions, Brian Herta was also fast in the first half of this morning's practice session. Scott Pruitt ended up with a fast time, with rookie Dario Franchitti the second quick, and this is the first time he's ever been on this circuit. In Portland, Marlo Klain, RPM Tonight.
Thank you, Marlo. Checking out more of the provisional grid for the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 from Portland. Paul Tracy looks pretty good coming back after missing the race at Detroit, 117.540, seventh fastest. Christian Fittipaldi returning after breaking his right leg in that crash at Australia earlier this year at 117.372 miles an hour. This is his first time back in the car for qualifying since that crash. And let's go back up to the track in Marlo Klain.
Christian, you're back after missing 6 races because of the injury in Australia. Good to be back, I bet.
Well, there's no doubt that it's good to be back. I'm pretty happy. I think the leg is hanging in there, and hopefully over the weekend we can find ourselves on an uphill until Sunday, and well, honestly, I think we can have a good race here.
Obviously, you were anxious to get back as soon as possible, but this has to be more difficult for you coming back to a road course instead of coming back on an oval.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it's a lot harder coming back on a road course, but that's the way the series goes. I think the ovals are over now, and we start a lot of road courses and street courses, and if we're here to race, I have to race here, and I have to make the best out of it.
What kind of special equipment are you guys using in the car to make it more comfortable for you and more effective for you?
Oh, there's just a little bit more rooms for me down, like for the pedals. Apart from that, I'm just using a big, I would say, a carbon brace from the knee down to the foot, but it's feeling pretty good at the moment.
All right, you had a podium finish here last year. You are fast in the morning practice.
Yeah, it's as I said, like there's still a lot to go, but I think we're improving the car, and I don't know, I feel confident.
All right, thanks a lot. Good luck this weekend. Christian Fittipaldi had a third-place finish here last year.
Checking out more of the provisional grid, of course, second round qualifying on tap for Saturday afternoon up at Portland. Raul Boisel, pretty good run of 117.112 miles an hour. Alonso Jr. was 15th fastest, 116.803. Juan Fangio and P.J. Jones with Toyota Power back at 115.3. Parker Johnstone, 115.329. Walter Salas, 21st fastest. Michel Jourdain Jr., 22nd. Patrick Carpentier, 23rd quickest on the day. When we come back, we'll speak to a couple of guys who had some problems here in Southern California. Second round qualifying is on tap Saturday morning here at the California Speedway for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars. While the tobacco settlement and pole qualifying dominated the talk around the garage area, Bill Weber found some other interesting tidbits.
After a relaxed atmosphere here on Thursday, when NASCAR Winston Cup teams were granted a courtesy practice day, it was back to normal on Friday. Very intense. Then just before noon, a frightening driver's side crash sent Robbie Gordon to the hospital. Gordon is still on the mend from burns suffered in the Indy 500. His injuries here in Fontana might have been worse, but the team learned a painful yet valuable lesson from John Nemechek's crash earlier this season.
We all think about weight and stuff, you know, and the driver weighs quite a bit, so we always try to keep him to the left. But, you know, this car we redid from Charlotte, and we moved it almost an inch to the right. And by the looks of the hit, I'll tell you, it probably made the big difference in it, you know.
John Andretti was in one of the fastest cars here Thursday, but with less than 15 minutes remaining in the final practice, Andretti demolished his RCA Ford, leaving the team with just one car and the driver with a more cautious approach.
They worked really hard last night. They got our backup car ready, and the car's been running good. It's I'm only being a little cautious because, you know, we're so far away from home, and, you know, we don't want to have to borrow somebody else's car to run. And, you know, for me, it's just getting in the car in the field now. It's not trying to go for the pole like we were yesterday.
Lake Speed skipped races at Sonoma and Dover. The Melling team returned last week at Michigan and finished 11th. Speed is hoping for another strong performance in Fontana, but when the team will race again is a question. Is it a race-to-race situation then right now?
Yeah, it really is. We don't know what our next deal would be right this minute. Obviously, we'll go back to Michigan. Obviously, we'll go to Indianapolis. Those are for sure. The rest of it's kind of up in the air yet.
There have been 7 different winners in the first 14 races this season, and Jeff Gordon has won 6 of those races and leads the Winston Cup point standings. But things could shift dramatically here on Sunday because the top 4 in those Winston Cup standings are separated by just 134 points.
Thank you, Bill. Well, of course, the big story out here at the California Speedway, not only is this the inaugural weekend of NASCAR Winston Cup racing here at the track, but that Joe Nemechek won his very first career Winston Cup pole, 183.015 miles an hour. Joe, just the emotion had to be overwhelming when qualifying ended for you.
It felt so good. You know, I got to say thanks to Tony Glover and the whole Bell South crew. They're the ones that make the cars go around the racetrack. Keith Simmons and the whole engine department. We've got some awesome engine program right now, and I'm the lucky one that gets to drive it.
Well, you're lucky that you get in there. You have to steer. You mash the gas. So I tell you what, Joe, let's take a look at your qualifying run, and maybe you can walk us through it.
Coming up to get the green flag. Got a real good run through 3 and 4. Through 3 and 4 coming up to take the green, and getting into turn 1. Went in probably a little bit deeper than I should have. Car went right to the bottom of the racetrack. Got back on the gas right away, and had a really awesome line through there. Getting through turn 3 and 4, I gave up just a little bit, and didn't give up too much, and we still ended up number 1. Tony Glover told me that had an awesome, is the best lap or corner speed that I had through 1 and 2, and just trying to take it easy through 3 and 4, and almost gave it away.
Wow. You guys, though, knew you had a shot, because all throughout practice, you were one of the quickest cars.
Oh, yes. It just feels so good. And I got to say thank you to Bell South, First Union and Coors. They've stuck with our team, and we're coming. It's just taking a little time to get everybody going. But when you're on the top of the leaderboard all the time, up in the front, it just feels so good. And we unloaded on Thursday for the test day, and we were one of the fastest cars right off the truck, and that means a lot. Normally, when we go to new facilities, I usually excel. It's like New Hampshire or Indianapolis. We've always run good there, and this is the same.
Now, you guys seem to, in the last few races, have gotten qualifying down to a science for yourselves, but the race is still finishing the races. So how much have you guys been working on getting, like, the motors to last, things like that, to be there at the end with a fast race car?
Well, I can't tell you enough how many hours the engine shop has put into getting the engines figured out. But guys, if you're watching, you did a good job getting this one to go. They're just trying to analyze everything that happens. They can't when parts break, it's not their fault. They're doing an awesome job. They're making a lot of horsepower, and when you do that, things can happen. But Tony and I are working better and better every week together. We're getting our race cars figured out as far as the handling part of it. Engine shop guys are working very hard to get us the best they can, and I think before long, we just got to keep running the top 10. If we can do that, we'll win one soon.
Well, you're doing it in the right order, because to race, first you must qualify, and you did on the pole, Joe.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
RPM Tonight rolling right along live from Fontana, California. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Back at the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains, about 50 miles east of Los Angeles, we are at California Speedway. Beautiful day as Busch pole qualifying has just been concluded, and the historians are already writing in the record books. 33-year-old Joe Nemechek is the very first pole sitter here at California Speedway. He and teammate Wally Dallenbach, 1st and 4th. What a day for Felix Sabates and Team Sabco. Some other surprises in the top 10. Well, let's check in the garage with Bill Weber.
Well, I am with Darrell Waltrip, and Jerry Punch said this is a surprise interview, but I had a feeling you might be able to pull something off here. You are big at the big events, DW.
Well, I rolled in here Wednesday afternoon, and when I came in this racetrack, and I felt something. I said, I'm going to have a great week here. I'm going to run good. I even went down, I got in my IROC car, and I ran about 4 or 5 laps, and I was right there where everybody else was. I said, DW, this could be a big weekend for you out here in sunny California. I had one of my best runs of the year over in Sonoma, so must be something about the air. You know, the quality of the air out here must have something to do with it.
Well, you've also had some good luck here in Southern California in, shall we say, the earlier years.
Well, yeah, Ontario wasn't that good to me, you know. Richard beat me for the championship there in '79 by 11 points. But Riverside, I drove up there where it used to be, and I cried. I sat there in turn 9. That's about all that's left, a little bit of it. And I said, you know, this was my domain. I once was king in this town, and maybe I can get it back.
Real quick, how are you going to race Sunday?
Just like Pocono and just like Sonoma. This car is good. It's going to race good. See, the good thing about here, the engines show up, and I got great engines right now. I got guys at home that are building a lot of power in these things, and they're really showing up on these long straightaways. I want to thank all the guys back at the shop. They're doing an absolute fantastic job.
Darrell Waltrip with another strong qualifying run to Benny Parsons.
Well, this is Jeff Green, driver of the Cartoon Network. Let's see what you qualify. Hey, Mike, you're way up there, 7th spot.
Benny, you've been holding the sheet upside down. You've been looking it up upside down. We've been up front all along.
Oh, I thought he was way back there. Good run.
Thank you. It was a great run. Our car's been running good ever since we unloaded off the truck, and Bill and Bob and everybody been really giving Jeff Green what he needs to get a lap in like this. And Cartoon Network and Chevrolet's been behind us all year long, and hopefully we can get the program turned around. I think we have qualifying. We just need to get me more comfortable in these races, and laps is what's going to take to do that.
Well, this is a brand new racetrack for everyone. No one has been to this racetrack before. Is that going to be an advantage to you on Sunday?
Well, I think it's going to be an advantage because we're all equal. This track is it reminds me a lot of Las Vegas. So hopefully someone can bring some of that magic back. I won there in a Busch car, so hopefully we can get some setups off of that deal, and hopefully we'll be good in the race Sunday.
See, now I told you at the start of the show when we did qualifying show that some of the drivers said that this racetrack was similar to Las Vegas. He just verified that he said it. Jerry Punch?
Well, indeed, Benny, similar to Las Vegas with regard to qualifying, but then I got to believe this track's going to be very similar to Michigan when it comes to racing. We always see great racing in Michigan. We saw that last Sunday, and this Sunday should be no different.
I think the qualifying pointed that up. I was impressed with how close they were, you know, less than 2/100 of a second from the pole to the outside pole, and then you're going back down the line. It's very, very close. So I think that we will see some of the best racing we've seen in a long, long time.
Predictions are side by side, maybe 3 abreast, a packed house, sun, surf, sand, and speed. Bill, what more can you ask for here at California?
2 more days of beautiful weather. That's all I'm going to ask for. You can see behind me in the garage several teams working on their cars, some changing engines, getting ready for a practice session tomorrow. But behind this door is the 7 car of Jeff Bodine. They qualified well. Right there, the 31 car of Mike Skinner. A very poor qualifying run. They'll have a tough Saturday here in Fontana. They've got to try and work their way into the field. Benny?
You know, Bill, there's 45 cars here. The maximum they can start is 43, probably 42 cars, so 3 cars going to have to go home. Golly, do I feel sorry for those guys. In California, 2,500 miles for home, not being able to race. But we're going to have a Winston West race here tomorrow afternoon on ABC. Maybe they'll get in that thing and win it. There could be. Jerry Punch?
Benny, you couldn't ask for a prettier setting here in Southern California. Roger Penske, Greg Penske, Les Richter, kudos. What an outstanding job you have done to build a palace of speed. The fans love it, the competitors love it, and those of you watching at home are going to love it come Saturday and Sunday with our live coverage here. Ned Jarrett, what a day.
Oh, it's a great day here for qualifying. Great day good way to open a brand new facility.
Well, coming up in just a moment, we're going to have Larry McReynolds join John Curtin on the set of RPM Tonight, as Larry will talk racing and what he expects will happen on Sunday with his driver, Dale Earnhardt. Back in a moment.
Rusty Wallace won the last NASCAR Winston Cup race run in Southern California, Riverside in '88. Find out Sunday afternoon if he can find his way to victory lane at this brand new track. It's the California 500 live Sunday at 2 Eastern only on ABC. When Larry McReynolds left the Robert Yates team for Richard Childress Racing and Dale Earnhardt this year, everybody expected them to be in the position Jeff Gordon is now. So far, they're still searching for their first win of the year. The Weber takes a look at some of the reasons why this dynamic duo hasn't visited victory lane yet.
It was the equation for success. The former champ paired with a proven winner. The hardware was ready. History was waiting.
It's been 360 degrees of what I anticipated. You know, I guess I felt like coming to Richard Childress Racing, coming from an operation of where I've come from, I felt like if I could just bring that knowledge to what was already at Richard Childress Racing, and then you put Dale Earnhardt in the driver's seat, I felt like we'd be really tough and strong right from the get-go.
The addition of Larry McReynolds seemed to smooth the rough finish to Earnhardt's 1996 season. But at Daytona, a ghost from the past returned to haunt the future.
We had a really good speed weeks up till 12 to go. And it's almost like from lap 188 at Daytona to the weeks coming, we started losing ground.
31st in the 500, 11th at the Rock, 25th at Richmond. Talladega was the turning point, a car that could lead in a solid second-place finish to silence the skeptics. Earnhardt and McReynolds have their first top 5.
Our driver, he's not even a variable. If you give him what it takes, I don't care what they say. The wreck did not affect him. I think he showed that at Daytona. He showed that at Talladega. He showed it in the Winston 4 deep going into 3, and he wasn't going to be the one to lift. So he showed that, hey, that wreck did not affect my ability to drive a race car. I think the two main things we've got to really keep working on is our chassis and our engines. You can get behind in this garage area, not in one season. You can get behind in 1 week. People is just working. If you work 12 hours a day, somebody's going to work 18. If you work 18, somebody's going to work 24. If you work 24, somebody's going to figure out how to work 28.
The results have yet to equal the effort. 41 races without a trip to victory lane. And while it's not a matter of if Earnhardt and McReynolds will win, it's clearly becoming a question of when.
It's not we're looking at each other and saying, I have no idea what we're going to do. We know what we got to be working on. We got to work on the qualifying. Everybody tells me Dale Earnhardt's not a good qualifier, even Dale Earnhardt. I say, bull crap. If this guy is the racer that he is, and I think he proves it week in and week out, we just got to figure out which button to push that makes him comfortable to go out there and run fast for one lap. I want to get this season turned around for a lot of reasons. I want to get it turned around for myself because I made a major move in my career that affected a lot of people's lives. The people I worked with, the people I started working with, my family. I want to get it turned around for these guys at Richard Childress Racing that work countless hours. But you know, I want to get it turned around for Dale Earnhardt because I want him to go out another champion and a winner. He don't have nothing to prove to anybody if he don't win another race. But I want to see him go out a champion, and my goal is to be Dale Earnhardt's last crew chief.
Somehow 6th in points, a win will not only ease the pain and pressure on coach and crew, but could thrust Earnhardt into the fight for his 8th championship and move McReynolds closer to his first.
It's almost like the guys up there, the 24, the 6, the 88, they're saying, come on, 3. You belong back up here with us. We're going to give you a chance to get caught up, but we're not going to wait long on you. And that's where that black 3 belongs, up there with that 88, that 24, and that 5, racing for the lead each week and in this championship hunt. And that's what the fans, that's what they want to see.
Check the numbers, and you can see that Earnhardt and McReynolds are coming on. In the last 9 races, Earnhardt has finished in the top 10 6 times, and he has completed all but 3 of the possible laps run. At the last PPG Kart World Series race at Detroit on Friday during qualifying, Scott Pruitt was fastest on the provisional pole, only to be knocked back to a second-place starting position Saturday during the final round of qualifying. Well, this weekend, the PPG Kart World Series is up on the road course in Portland, Oregon, and again, Pruitt is the fastest on the provisional pole on Friday, and he is standing by with Marlo Clain.
Scott Pruitt has the provisional pole here at Portland, a lap of 118.834 miles an hour.
Pretty good. You know, we're pleased with the car. The Brahma guys, again, have done just a fantastic job. And Ford, you know, they've really picked up the pace. This is one of those tracks that's real critical for horsepower. And just like Detroit, you know, we have the pole on Friday, and we're hoping for rain on Saturday. They're talking about that, and so we'll see what happens.
Scott, do you guys change your strategy for Saturday session? You just mentioned it, that you did have the provisional pole at Detroit. Gilles did get the pole. Do you guys change your strategy?
Yeah, keep the pole this time. No, don't let Gilles have it. No, the biggest thing that we're going to look at is making improvements with the race car. Firestone has done a great job. There's some areas that we feel we can make improvements with the car. We're going to go back and work on those right now, and so I still see the opportunity to pick up some more speed.
Because of the possibility for rain on Saturday, everyone appears to put a little more emphasis on today's session.
Exactly right. I mean, Portland is such a guessing game. I mean, it can be dry, it can be wet, and especially one of these places where you got to be, you know, take the opportunity in hand when you have it. And today was a great day, nice and sunny. So if you can get the job done today, great.
All right, Scott Pruitt has won 1 pole in his career. It was in '96 at Detroit. That was a temporary road course. He will try and win his first pole pole on a permanent road course here at Portland.
Thank you, Marlo. Alex Zanardi defends his title at Portland this weekend as the PPG Kart World Series visits the road course there. Fuel strategy and very close racing have been the norm this season on the circuit. You can watch all the exciting action Sunday afternoon live at 5 Eastern on the classic ESPN. We'll be right back in a minute. RPM tonight back at California Speedway, checking out qualifying for Saturday's Winston West Auto Club 200. A couple Winston Cup guys there in the first 3 spots. David Green winning the pole. Ken Schrader will start third. For Green, he won the pole, having very little trouble winning it over Gary Smith by 0.2 of a second.
You guys have worked hard, you know, to not only get one car in a Winston Cup race, but to get 2 cars going. But you know, Kenny Schrader and Andy Petrie, they have the same idea as we had, as to try to get as many laps as we can. So far, so good, and I'm sure Saturday's going to be a lot of fun to go out there and gain some more experience.
The time I was quite surprised at, but I mean, the car's so stable underneath me. I'm just really happy. You know, the car's running real good, and just looking forward to the race. You know, long race.
Yeah, it was a pretty good lap. It could have been better. I just got to get the courage to drive it in a little bit deeper. That's the big difference between us and the Cup guys here, is just getting the experience to be comfortable driving it into the corner as deep as they are, and it's going awful fast at the end of that straightaway.
We'll be back to wrap everything up in just a moment, but first check out Friday's Radio Shack Fast Fact.
RPM Tonight is brought to you by the Exide NASCAR Select. So reliable, it's the official battery of NASCAR.
RPM Tonight's visit to Southern California continues through the weekend. Kenny Mayne and company wrap up Saturday's action from the California Speedway at 7:30 Eastern. Sunday, we preview the big race and then wrap it up afterwards right here on ESPN2. Of course, racing action going on at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ron Hornaday on the pole for the Truck Series. Coming up next, exciting NASCAR Goodies Dash Series action. Good night, everybody.